How do you think you'd match up with Cung?
You know, Kong's not a complete fighter as far as I'm concerned. At least from what I've seen, he's never fought anybody. You know, I feel like it's time for him to fight a real MMA fighter. You know, I mean, it's not that Frank Shamrock's not a real MMA fighter, but he's old school. You know, and nowadays, you know, I've been, you know, fighting with that sort of style a little bit for a while, and then people try to come and put a certain type of game on you when you fight like that. So I'd like to see how that would pan out. I think I don't know. I hear he's retired though, so we can get him to come back. You know, I'll fight whatever.
Now, Strikeforce has a card June 6th. Is that something you might be interested in coming back that fast?
Like I said, you know, we get the paydays right or whatever. You know, that's not up to me. You know, I don't mean to talk that way. I'm just saying, hey, you know, whatever. I'm my coach. You know, never seen Gracie, my manager wants me to do. You know, I'm ready to go. I'm in good shape. You know, I trained really hard for the Sakurai fight, and I thought I was going to fight Sakurai, and then he turned out to fight some chump. You know, this guy was like 7 and 9 or something crazy like that. You know, I don't think I would have gone out like that Shinyoki. You know, that was pretty bad. So I feel like we have a similar style on the ground, but I think I could have done a lot better than that. So just a thought. Sorry. Misaki is not my weight class for Dream. So if I'm fighting in Dream or in the, you know, in Japan, I like to fight over there in my weight class. It's a lot different over there. It's more of a technical thing, you know. I think that's kind of the way fighting should be, you know. It kind of shows more of how, you know, that, you know, it's kind of like you're going to see who the best guy is, you know. More of the technical aspect comes out of the sport. Comes out in that because, you know, there's no elbows allowed, so this is going to force a guy to punch. He doesn't punch, he gets yellow carded. And in that same space that you're going to create to throw a punch might be the same space we're trying to make on bottom to get up. See a guy in the MMA, you know, fighting here, the elbows and the UFCs, and they'll hold you, you know, and they'll win rounds. You see, like my brother's last fight, you know, I mean, if you score that on damage, my brother didn't lose, but you can go in there and you can go in there fighting like that, just trying to meet this criteria. It's kind of a ball game now. We're trying to meet this criteria instead of actually fight. So I like the idea of fighting in the ring and fighting with those rules because you know, more of the technical aspect comes out in the sport. We're going to see more of this transition happen, you know, more submission, and I think that favors my game a little more with the technical fighting versus just kind of hugging your opponent's ass. You know, we get out there and start trying to hug me, then I gotta say, okay, am I gonna screw around and try to punch you, or am I gonna try to hug your ass the whole time? You know, so it's pretty much I'm hugging your ass, you're hugging my ass, and then whoever holds on tighter wins. You know, it's like whoever doesn't punch is gonna win more. But I think it just takes a while. You know, I think the sport's evolving. It's gonna take a while for everybody to kind of see this, for it to come out. And it's going to start with the fighters noticing, because you've had to be in this 5 or 6 years for you to understand this sort of thing, what I'm talking about. I think at some point in time, you know, people are going to start to understand this sort of thing. It's going to come out. People like me are going to start to, you know, open their mouths and explain this sort of thing, so we can see more of these sort of fight shows, or maybe Scott can, you know, start up his own show like that. I don't know anything about it. I don't like to. I'm not criticizing. I think this is great what we got going here. You know, it's fighting just to do it. But I would prefer to fight. You know, yellow cards in the ring, no elbows. You know. Yeah, there's no elbows on the ground in here, anyways. But you know, like what I said though about you know, just the ring too. I think it's a little better for the fans to see. And then, you know, I'm used to working my way around the ring in boxing. So I think that you know, favors more the technical aspect standing up for the stand-up fighter, and then, you know, on the ground, you know, with the way it works with the yellow cards and the space that they're gonna have to make to put the punches in on the ground. So
I got a question for like, what about who would you like to fight next? And let's say if the fight was at 170, who would you like to fight on a roster? I mean, There's, I'm thinking about maybe a fight like, is Phil Baroni somebody you'd like to fight? Is Joe Rigg somebody you'd like to fight?
You know, I don't like to name names, you know, I'll fight anybody. There's a lot of people out there who I'd like to fight. You know, I always wanted to fight Shinyaoki, you know, and I thought he was important or something. I thought he was probably going to be the best fighter over there in Japan, but then he lost his last fight, so, you know, I'm not going to be able to really name any names. I'll fight anybody, you know, whoever they're going to tell me to fight, I'm going to fight.
Well, we look forward to it because we're going to put some, you know, some great matches together with Nick, and we're excited to have Nick as part of the Strikeforce and Showtime team. Yes.
Scott, a question for you. Obviously, Sakurai is kind of busy right now, but is there the chance that some of the fighters from Dream, like Sakurai, might come over here to challenge guys like Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, Sakurai, like you said, he's busy in the tournament, but, you know, we have a relationship with them, and, you know, fighters going back and forth, and us sending fighters there, or them sending fighters. You know, that will be happening before the end of the year. And so, you know, it's something that, you know, as a promoter makes it very interesting because, you know, as you know, we talked about before is, you know, Nick fighting this guy, Nick fighting Nick, or Jake fighting this guy, or, you know, and now if you add their roster, it just makes, you know, a lot of different matchups that you can put together that will be very compelling, and we look forward to it. Any other questions for Nick?
At the press conferences, right, you said that you kind of took pride that you didn't have a suit. You have a suit now with good money?
You know, I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. Usually the only time I wear a suit or dress up like that, I'm going to a funeral or something like that. So it's not really that comfortable. It's not really what I'm used to, but whatever. You know, if that's what'll make Scott happy or whoever, then, you know, if that's what is in the job description, I would like to be informed of that, and then maybe I can do it, you know. I got a lot of stuff, you know, I was younger about doing this and doing that. I'm like, hey, you know, this is how I got into this. I just want to fight, you know. I would like to just go and fight and not have to worry about anything else. I'd like to have a manager take care of my business, so I don't have to do that, you know. This is why I stopped going to school sophomore year, so I started fighting, you know, and maybe, you know, who knows, maybe one day I can make my way back into you know, into school or whatever, but for now I'd like to just take care of my, you know, do what my job is. So if you're going to add parts to my job description for what I'm getting paid for, then that's, you know, you go ahead and let me know that that's what I got to do, and then, you know, if I'm going to sign it, then that's my job, so that's when I do it. But if whatever's not inside of there, then that's not my job to take care of that as far as I'm concerned. So.